Unfortunately, a year later, he held me, my daughter, and my grandfather at gunpoint for 5.5 hours. Yeah, I got into a fight with an older woman, and I did stab her, and I went to prison at 19. I met some of the best people on the face of this earth in prison. Like they count us out once you get in trouble, but it's some people in there that just, like me, made a wrong choice, but people really don't mind helping you. I'm teaching my children that them and their siblings are the most important people to each other. Nothing in this world, nothing but death can stop you from going to the highest mountain. So if you are alive and you are breathing today, climb that mountain.
Hi, and welcome to another episode and another season of the Woman Witness podcast on the Woman Witness TV network. I'm your host, Leah Fortier. As you know, here on this platform, we bring to you dynamic voices of women that are out there making a positive impact in their lives, in their family, and in the community around them. Women of resilience, women of faith, women who have battled through something and they are bold enough, strong enough to turn around, grab the hand of another sister, and be a witness. Today, I am so excited to be joined by my remarkable guest today. She is a mother of three, a best-selling author of From Pawn to Queen, a talented actress, a thriving small business owner running Wy Wigs and Beyond. But behind her success story is a powerful story of perseverance and faith, triumph over childhood filled with trauma and pain. Today, she's here to share how she turned her adversity into purpose, how faith carried her through the darkest moments of her life, and what it truly means to rise above your past and to create the future that you deserve. Get ready for an honest, heartfelt, inspiring conversation. Please join us in welcoming my guest today, Miss Wytishia Bly. Hi, Wytishia. Welcome to the well. How are you?
I'm wonderful and so happy to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you here, and you look gorgeous.
Thank you, so do you.
Well, thank you.
I love that intro you gave me too now. I love that.
Look, I'm just reading what you do. And I'm glad that you are here. You've written a book. You've done so many things, and I'm glad that you're here to talk us through,
Yes.
some of the childhood pain and trauma that you went through and how you rise above. That's what it's all about, Wytishia, and I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, okay. Well, let me go ahead and give you the floor. Can you share a little bit about your childhood and some of the challenges that you faced growing up?
Absolutely. So I'm a country girl. I was born in a small town called Milledgeville, Georgia, and population very small. But when I was about 8 years old, my mom, I guess she was just, tired of the small town life. And her father, who was kind of a stranger to her, lived in Boston, Massachusetts. So he, invited us for change. Come on up here, move up here, and, see if it'll work for my mom, I guess. Not for me. I was a child. And so my mom took that move. And I mean, being a country girl in Milledgeville and moving to Boston was a huge transformation. That was totally different. I wasn't ready for it. The weather was different. We're talking about snow to your neck. The schools were like sort of like Lean on Me. They were kind of like, yeah, they were like, the girls were hardcore in there. And I had never been in trouble, never been a type of person to fight or anything like that. So to me, my move to Boston seemed to be one of those growing up too fast experiences for me. Yeah, because once I got up there, like I said, I just had to like argue a lot because I guess I had an accent. I was super country. So I stood out to everybody else. Yeah. So not to mention this atmosphere, this persona of mine has always been like this. So people was a little bothered that, I'm a fun girl, came in with good, energy and stuff. So I was picked on,
Right.
and I think when I turned 12 years old, because my mama didn't move to the best neighborhood in Boston. So when I was 12 years old, I did experience rape by some guys from my neighborhood. And yeah, I came home from school. They had learned our routine and knew that my mom got in 2 hours after me. So yeah, they were waiting in the apartment building. They forced themselves on me. Yeah, that was a heck of an experience because the young man that actually did the penetrating, I knew him to be like a friend. We were the same age and stuff. So that was very horrible. And at 12 years old, I had to sit in a courtroom and go through trial and testify and point out to the guys that were in the courtroom with me, point, yeah, that's him right there. I think that's way too much for a 12-year-old.
Way too much.
Way too much. Yeah. And, but she didn't move. She still didn't move. We still stayed in Boston. So, I had to face these people. Maybe I think about another 6 months before she moved. And then, like I said, again, still just growing.
So what happened to them? Wytishia, were they still there? Like, did they get locked up? Like, what was the consequences?
Okay, so my mom, like I said, come in 2 hours after me. I was still in the same position when she came in, door wide open, everything. So yeah, that was a lot for her. So we went to the emergency room. I had to have the AIDS kit and all that type of stuff at 12 years old, and just all kind of testing done that she gave them permission to do, stuff I had never been through. I had never seen a gynecologist at that time or anything like that. So yes, they definitely arrested him. They arrested the two older guys first. They were grown men. And then they later came back and got the one that was my age that actually did the penetration or whatever. The older ones were sentenced to more time, even though all they did was hold me. The young one, I don't know if it was because he was a child. I don't know, but he had I think he did 6 months for that. That's it. Yeah, that's it. But luckily, when he got out, we had to move to a different, side of town, and I didn't see him anymore since then. Yeah, so that was a lot. So me and my mom
then
was
living in that as a 12-year-old, and that probably everybody knew. So just kind of living in that shadow or
every day
at 12 is way too much.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like I said, he was somebody I knew though. So that was what made it so much more harder for me. But again, and at that time, us Black people, we're not really, really big on therapy. So my mama didn't get me no therapy line, and we just talked about it. She might have had me talk to a pastor or something like that, but I never really got any real therapy for it. I just had to move on, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. I had to just keep going and stuff. So eventually I did, I felt like that was my way of growing up. You know what I mean? It's like experiencing that growing up too fast. So I know I've heard, and just listening to people that have been through this, I've heard them say that it turns them against men, but I think it did the opposite for me because I became way more promiscuous, sexually involved after that. And so, like I said, I grew up, I started being very grown at 13, 14 years old, just, having a lot of sex. My mama didn't know, just sneaking, doing so much stuff. Like I really put her through it as her only child, And then I hated Boston because it turned me into somebody I never was, So I used to run away. I ended up in a foster home. Keep in mind, my mama never wanted to give her child up. It was an agreement that they did. They was like, let's just show her. She keep thinking she want to run away and that the world is better for her out there. Let her go see. So it was just a 30-day agreement that she made with the state and the foster people. And the first few days, I can't lie, I thought that I made the best decision because the foster mother let the girls have money and go do what they want to do. And they were all my age. So I was like, this is the best thing I could have
Right. It's my best life.
Yes. However, as the days went by and these girls coming in and out and I had to, deal with their personalities, their attitude. And I must keep in mind I'm the only child. So I had my own space, everything. So I was like, I miss my mama, so calling and asking, when are you want me to get me? I made a mistake, so she's seen those 30 days out though. And then I ended up back home. I don't want to say I straightened up right away though, but I definitely toned it down because I didn't want nothing like that else to happen. So that was part of some of the trauma. Then we moved back to Georgia, and at 16 we moved back to Georgia, and here we go again. My first real serious relationship. He was extremely abusive, very much so. So I went from that to this. Now I got this man
at such a young age.
Yeah, 16, 17 years old. And yeah.
Oh my
And then he got me pregnant immediately. So I was pregnant at
God.
16. I had my daughter at 17. Yeah.
Mm.
And while I was 5 months pregnant, like he pushed me on the ground, kicked me in the stomach, told me he didn't want me to have a baby. Yeah, just slow down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, when I got like 8, 9, 10 months, I'm sorry, 8, 9 months, I met another guy while I was blown pregnant. And he turned out to be in the beginning a great man. Like he was like, you're a woman now. You need your own place. He found us a
Mm.
two house.
Okay.
He act like my daughter was his. He was in the delivery room. He held her before I did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but unfortunately, a year later, he held me, my daughter, and my grandfather at gunpoint for 5.5 hours. Yes, he held us hostage. Yeah, he came there to kill me. Yeah, he did that. The police outside, they had the red beams pointing inside the house. It was a
Oh
hard
my gosh.
experience because I learned then that the police are not always on your side. I'm sorry if I have to be the one to say it, but they're not, because that was my experience. It seems to me they didn't care if they would have came out and just brought 3 dead bodies out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it didn't, because they kept antagonizing him. When someone has someone hostage, you don't threaten them and antagonize him, and that's what the police were outside doing. They were like
Mm.
doing all of that. So
Oh my God.
anyway, he finally surrendered after 5.5 hours. He surrendered, and he ended up going to prison. Yeah, and I dealt with a lot. Again, they just had me back talking to a pastor, not a real therapist, and not to take away from pastors. They do counsel all the time, but I think it was because it was the pastor that's known me all my life. It just felt like I was just being.
He didn't know how, right?
It wasn't
He
therapy.
wasn't right.
Yeah, it was just somebody telling me everything gonna be all right and God got me and stuff. And I
Yeah.
received that, but I don't think I got the therapy I needed until later on. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
yeah, those are some of the things. And then right after that, because like I said, I've grown up in Boston now, and now I'm a fighter when I never was.
Right.
And so I got into a fight with a older woman, and I did stab her, and I went to prison at 19.
At
I'm sorry,
19.
22.
Oh
22.
my gosh.
Yes, 22 years old. I went to prison for 4 years. I only had
Talk,
my daughter at the time. Yes.
talk to me about that, Wytishia. Never been behind bars. Talk to me about what that was like.
I just thought my family has always been able to talk me out of trouble or whatever. I just thought they was going to be able to do this time because, again, although I did, um assault someone, she hit me and I was no threat to her. I was sitting in the vehicle. And so
Mm.
I don't know, I thought I wasn't going to go to jail. I thought, okay, I've never been in trouble, they're going to put me on probation.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
to walk up thin ice. But they was like, no ma'am, 15 served 5 years in prison. And I just sat there in that courtroom for a minute because I was like, there's no way he just said that. You know what I mean?
Oh my
Especially
God.
since I wasn't the aggressor. The woman that I cut, she had a record, you know what I mean, longer than, I don't know, she was always fighting. I
Right.
wasn't.
Right. Prison
I
or
mean,
jail?
I was, but not getting in trouble fighting.
Prison or jail, Wytishia? Anytime your freedom is taken, I mean, I don't know if there's a difference, but is the talk to is
It's
there
a huge difference. Jail is dirty and you just sit there and you don't leave your cell.
yeah,
Prison is okay. Now you can
you would know.
maneuver, get a trade and meet people and, be busy, have a detail. And,
Yeah.
it's like, it's way more different. Jail is horrible. Don't get me wrong,
Oh,
prison is too, but it was
right.
way better than just sitting in one cell with 6 other women, half of them not bathing and stuff because they didn't want to
Yeah.
bathe in there, which I didn't blame them because I didn't need.
Yeah.
They didn't say
Yeah.
I didn't want you in there too much. You smell me. So
Yeah.
I was, taking a shower every chance I could with my shoes on and everything.
Right.
It was
Right.
horrible. I'm telling you, especially for a spoiled young lady. That was
Yes.
different. But I want you to know, I
Mm.
met some of the best people on the face of this earth in prison. Like
Come on.
people, they count us
Like,
out once you get in trouble. But it's some people in there that just, like me, made a wrong choice. But
what?
the core of my heart is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not a bad person. Like I said, I was young and I did make a mistake. I'm not the type of person that want to cause harm to people. I
Right.
definitely would defend myself, but I'm not a instigator or troublemaker or anything like that. But again, like I said, I met some great women. We decided to lock in, and this is back, like I said, 2003, and to this day, we're all friends. I know some real
Wow.
bosses. They got out and they're doing their thing. I'm talking
Let's
about
go.
pub owners, like
Mm.
property owners. Like these girls. I'm so proud of us. We
Absolutely.
did not let it keep us
The
down.
chills. Mm,
Right. So
mm,
that brings me to what I'm saying about childhood trauma, because I know people that they don't they don't heal from it. You know what I mean?
mm,
It follows them in their adulthood, and they're like the worst people to be around because they have not healed. And
mm.
so everybody they come in contact with has to see that pain that they're still dealing with.
Yeah.
So for me, I encourage people, it doesn't matter. Like if you're still alive, whatever your circumstances, if you're still alive, you have a chance. You have a chance to heal. You have a chance to talk to somebody. And we in this world keep thinking that there's no one out there that's going to hear my story. Are you kidding me? There's so many people want to hear it.
Need to hear it.
I don't
That
hear tell your
need to hear
story.
it.
They need to hear it. Yes. So, but yeah,
Like,
like I said, I grew up fast, as you can see.
well, hold on, my teacher. I got a question for you because I need I want to highlight. Uh, there's so many things, but I want to highlight this part. I think, even with you going to prison, I think so often I feel like, there are many times I can count on many fingers that I should have been, my fate shouldn't have been what it is.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? So I feel like even, for those people, like you said, when you went in, you met some of the greatest people on earth,
That's it.
and that probably, didn't get that chance.
Mhm.
However, I do believe that God works in mysterious ways. And sometimes God has a way of sitting us down for a minute
Oh
just
yeah.
so he can just get our attention and really begin to pour that, the revelation into us so that you are now sitting here in front of me years later, being a witness to some other young lady who may feel like they cannot go on from here. So, can I ask you real quick just to talk to me about what was that turning point in your life where you said, you know what, I'm going to start taking the next step forward, or, I'm going to start moving in my calling?
It definitely wasn't when I first got out of prison.
Really? Okay, talk to me
I
about
had been gone for 4 years. So to me, it's party time. You know what I
that.
mean?
I love
I
talking
wasn't responsible. I didn't like I did everything for my daughter monetary wise because I thought that was the way to make up for time. But you
Yes.
can't make up for that time unless it's gone, no matter how much money you spend. So I didn't have to
Mm,
learn that. I want you
mm.
to know though, I got out in 2007, and that question you just asked me literally just happened about 3-4 years ago.
Come on, Wytishia, talk to me about that.
I guess I did come home way more mature than I went in. Don't get me wrong, I did. I was definitely different.
Mhm, mhm.
But taking life seriously, setting up goals, plans, that just I didn't come home doing that. I came home ready to party, have fun. When you get time like that snatched away from you, you just feel like you got to find a way to get it back, even though you can't. But to me, I was searching, still love sick, hopeless romantic, still trying to make it work with the worst type of men. you know and then I actually had a son that was born very very early. I was only 24 months pregnant. So 26
Oh,
weeks, sorry, 24 weeks pregnant. So his lungs wasn't developed. Like he had a long fight. So he was born 1 pound 9 ounces.
oh, wow.
I do believe that definitely matured me on a level, because then I had to learn how to feed him through a feeding tube, deal with oxygen tanks, things I've never experienced. My daughter was full term. We didn't have no problems with her. So this is
Mm.
different. This is very different for me. But again, another abusive relationship though. This is another abusive baby daddy,
Mm.
and it's like the pattern kept happening. And then I decided to make the move to Atlanta, Georgia. So
Okay.
I will say, okay, maybe I will say that the turning point was then, because I definitely was moving a lot different. Still the party girl, because now I'm in the nightlife city, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So still the party girl, but house was being taken care of, you know what I mean? Bills are paid and stuff.
Mm.
And I still wanted to party. About 4 years ago, like I said, I've been in therapy now. I'm sorry, 2017. So where is that, 8 years? Yes, I've been in therapy now 8 years. My therapist, I hate to even call her that. She's like God sent. Like she's not
Mm.
just a therapist. She don't just sit and let me talk. She's got solutions. She get on the internet. Like when I said, I've been holding on to a lot of pain. I kind of want to write a book. She is the reason why this book is out. I'm going to show you the book in a second, but she's the reason, because she was just like, you got a lot. You've dealt with a lot. I think you
A
should
lot.
you should say it. And she said, because one thing I loved about our therapy sessions, when I say I get to be me 100% unapologetic, I don't gotta cut no corners or nothing. So she told me she wanted me to put all of that, put that the real experience you had with this man, the real experience you had with this woman, the real things you did, put that in the book. And she found me a publisher online. So
come on. Come
shout out
on.
to Shannon Anderson. Yeah, she found me a publisher, and she
Oh,
yeah, we got it done in 90 days. I'm gonna show you like this.
let's go.
From small, quick read, but this is my book.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Tell me about the book since you brought it out. I want to know about it. What is From Pawn to Queen? What embodies it? What's going on in the book?
I start from little girl, everything I experienced and in Boston. I talk about that. I talk about the experience. I like relived it. So it was, it was emotional to read it. Because as you're writing, you're like going through it again,
Yeah. Yeah.
She told me it was gonna be a good cry, and then I was gonna feel like a burden lifted off me, and she was right. I also talk about the very, very bad relationships I had. The abuse. I talk about that. I talk about going to prison. What my experience was like in prison. I did dabble in the lady pond. There was an experience of mine. I didn't come home doing it, but I was in there. I tried it. So I talked about that in the book.
That's good. It's being a witness. Come on.
I just was being honest. You know what I mean? I talked about it. And then when I got out of prison, I had lost my grandmother, the closest person to me. I just lost my other grandmother Tuesday, but my mom's mom, I lost her while I was incarcerated, and they tried everything under the sun, offered money. One of the police officers down there offered to put their badge on the line to come get me. They just wouldn't let me see her buried. So I actually am grateful. I don't believe I would have been able to see my best friend in a casket, my grandmother, and being able to come back and do the remaining 2 years that I still had left to do with a sane mind. So I know at the time I was upset with God. I was like, there's no way you could stop me from seeing this. Why would you? We prayed, God. We fasted. I had the whole prison fasting and praying with me that they would allow me to go home because the prison gave me permission to go home. But the sheriff that was outside my house for 5.5 hours, 2 years prior to this, he was upset with me because when it got time for me to testify against the man that held me hostage, I didn't testify. And the reason I chose not to was because he came there to kill me and he didn't. So I said, you all know what happened. You don't need my testimony. You was outside the whole time. You know what happened. You have a gun. You have him in custody. There's your case. So I feel like when I got my sentence, because I had to go before the same DA, like it was like a grudge that was held, and that's how I got all that time because no one understood why I went to prison on a first offense. Never been in trouble.
No, that's how I was. Yeah.
And she hit me first. So it was definitely self-defense. So no one understood that. So I feel like it was like payback. But again, like I said, he came there to kill me. He did not. He came there with a loaded gun. He shot in my grandma's. He came there to kill me. And he didn't. I feel like my baby saved my life because she was asleep during the most part of the hostage situation. And then she finally woke up. And so when she finally woke up, like I said, he was there since she was born. So he was like really much in love with her. So he started crying and put the gun down.
Oh my God.
And he started holding my baby and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do this. And he turned himself king. See, that's why I was like, why did y'all do me like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't hear one.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure it wasn't on my end. But yeah, so that I think, going through all of that and then, just being in therapy is so good. That's why I put so much in this book. I felt like if somebody read it and they can relate or know someone that can go through with it, then okay, I've done something, even if it ain't but one person.
This one.
And luckily, the reviews on Amazon, my book signed, everything went well. The messages I got, people sympathized. My mom, when I tell you she's a Black author reading person, she loves reading. So it's not like the intense sex and the things I did. It's not like that was like disgusting to her because she read those type of books. So she told me, had it not been her child that was the author, that it probably would have been the best book she read that year.
Oh, I love it. And that's what That's what it's all about.
That was the turning point, though. Once I saw that, I was like, oh wow, these people really are here for me. And I said, I want to do some things. I want to do things differently. Now I want to be a boss. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to wallow in my pity. Now, don't label me as that. You know what I mean? That's not who I am. That's not my story. That's a part of it. You know
There
what I
you
mean?
go.
And that's why I put all those things in the book. I didn't leave nothing out. I've done some things I'm not proud of. You know, I was in love with a married man for 3 years. I put that in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think a lot of that is just not having my father growing up, always want love, what I experienced as a young girl that just keep making me feel needy, you know, with a man and stuff. I'm still working on that today to this day, you know, but at least they ain't beat me up. We ain't doing that no more. They know better. That's not happening anymore. But I still could be better. I still could do a little better. But yeah.
No, you know what, teacher, this is really what it's all about. It's about just being vulnerable, you know, being honest and letting people know that I'm not alone. So many people disappear and they get swallowed, as you said, in their pity. And I know I spent many years almost being swallowed in my pity until, you know, you're snatched out. I want to talk to you about, you said now you're a boss, right? You coming out, you've done things, you've written books, you're best-selling author, you started your own company. How did your difficult childhood influence those decisions? And your your actress, how did those influence your decisions in building this new version of Wytishia?
I want to say, as a child, I always wanted to act, though. That's the thing, because I was only child. Remember, so I didn't. She was very strict after that too, so she didn't let me go out and play much. My mom, so I did little scenes in my room. You know what I mean? So it was already on my heart to be an actress. So once the therapist was like, "Okay, write the book,"
Yeah.
once I got that ball rolling and I wrote the book and put all that stuff in there, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna turn my book into a movie. So it was me thinking that I was gonna be an actress in my movie that
Come
started
on.
hooking up with people that were acting. So then I got casted to be on a couple of movies on Tubi. So I was like, okay, this is the life. You know what I mean? Like, you know, then I also I think Tyler Perry has a movie coming out with Taraji P. Henson. It's getting ready to come out. I think they didn't put the name out, so I hope I'm not getting in trouble, but I think they have. But it's called Straw. And it's,
Okay.
yeah, it's gonna be a good urban movie. And I had a little scene in there, you know, so I'm really excited about that. I can't
Come
wait.
on.
Yeah, because that's different from not don't get me wrong, I'm not down at Tubi because Tubi's doing their thing. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's Tyler Perry we talking about.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's the whole time. So it was just being around people that are bosses, you know, like-minded people
Wow.
that was like, okay, you can do this. Why are you different? Why would you be any different? Not only are you not shy, you know what I mean? You don't mind telling your story. You don't mind adjusting to, like, I feel like any scene they give me to act, I think I have that personality already. Because I've
Yeah.
been through so much. So it's like once you give me a scene, I'm not even acting, you know? So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all of that, it was just motivation. And then my children, oh my goodness, my kids were my biggest fans. Like, you know what I mean? So they were pushing me like, Mama, you really are a celebrity. I'm like, ain't I sure am. So that was like, that's where the motivation came from. You know, I was just like, I can't do this. I'm gonna turn this thing around. Again, the title though, From a Pawn to a Queen. I'm not a chess player, but I just watch people play, and for me, what it looks like is the pawn is just pretty much used a lot. You know, just used through the board to get to where they're going. I feel like my entire life, friends, relationships, I feel like I just always been used. I've never had nobody to pour into me what I pour into. I'm not still don't have people pour into me what I pour out. So I just felt like you gonna keep being this pawn, or are you gonna recognize who you are? You this queen, you need to be this queen. So that's how I kind of came up with the title a little bit. And plus I thought I was catchy too.
Girl, wait, the way you just explained that really it like gave me chills. It almost brought me to tears a little bit because, wow, that was deep. I don't think I was expecting that.
Yeah, I have at least a lot. Like I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's because I have a genuine spirit. I'm a good person, just easily, naturally, you know. So even when people think they're getting over, they don't even realize you're not, baby. You just being blessed. That's what's happening. You're being blessed with a good person in your life. You know what I'm saying? So I've always just been there. I show up for my friends. Like
Come on.
their stuff go on. I'm more madder than them. You know what I'm saying? And I think cousins, you know what I'm saying? I had a back through it all. But I'm not about, living that type of lifestyle. It's just that, when it's your family, your loved ones, you want to have their back too. So it's not like I'm out here just being alley or ratchet or anything like that. It's just I show up for my family. If they need,
Yeah.
I'm there. One call.
I love it. Okay, so what was some of the biggest challenges you faced while building this new version of yourself, building your career, starting your acting, and in your business? Like, what was some of the biggest hurdles you faced?
That's a great question. I want to say with the book, living through all of it again, that was a huge challenge because I'm like, this was years ago, but I'm writing about it. And I mean, I'm telling you, as I'm writing, I'm like literally in that moment. You know what I mean? So that brought tears through writing. That was a challenge for me. The acting, I guess, just really getting out there in the industry, like really being seen as more than an extra. Like I really am trying to get a role, time, whatever.
Right.
And also, like I said, with my own movie, that is not what I thought, because I've been working on that for 3 years and I'm still kind of
It's hard.
at step one, So, yeah. But I have a script written, so it's not like, I have things done. I've had people that are, out here in the media world that has given resources and advice. So I'm looking forward to that. That's why I say with challenges also come some type of blessings as well. Challenges are going to come, but there's blessings in those as well. And so meeting those people and getting the resources have been great. Another challenge with starting my business, the website. I went through hell and back to get that website right. It wouldn't post on Facebook. They kept saying it looked like it was what is the word? Was it fraud or scams? I can't remember. I don't know what they did. I paid somebody like 3 times to get it right. It's finally right. The wig website is right. Finding the correct vendor in China, because it's not like I can walk up in there and look at the wig. So that was a little bit of a challenge, but I got lucky and I locked in with a very, very good vendor. Hair quality is amazing. My vendor, she works with me. She wants to see my business thrive. Like, that's the thing I can tell you. People really don't mind helping you. If you are already a good person, they can see it. You just got to be in the mix with the right people. But so and then we went through that little, where they wasn't really shipping anything. So that was a little challenge too. So, and then again, just reaching a broader audience. Like it's just the people that know me that supported me right now. I'm really trying to reach other people for the business. So that's something that's still a challenge actually right now.
I was going to ask you that. What are some of your current struggles? Like, do you ever face like imposter syndrome or feeling unworthy?
Wanting to give up, wanting to be like the website to get all of this. Yeah, I have definitely done that. And I'm telling you, because also I do have a podcast as well. I just started it though. So I got like 7 episodes. And so it's like, I remember one day I was like, I'm not even going to record. I don't care. I'm not going to record. I'm not going to do no casting calls. I will sit in my funk for a little while, but I have learned along the way, you can do that, but you cannot stay in it. You got back up. So
come on.
Even when I'm challenged, I'm trying to find something else out. Like what else can we do?
Where does that come from?
What else can we do?
Where does that come from, Wytishia? Because it's so easy to give up. It's so easy to say, you know what, maybe this is not what God has for me. I'm going to just walk away and do something else.
I think I'm going to give the credit to my grandmother that just passed. She lived to be 101 years old. When I say that was a praying woman, I think I want to give that credit to her. I think the prayers of just keeping me resilient, just, not only that, she actually said it to me. You know what I mean? So forgive me for saying no one has poured into me, because she did. My grandma. But I think that too, pushing me. And although she was saved, like real holy, like real saints, I'm talking about, babe, man, we can watch BET at her house. We can play Uno. She didn't play. But I could come around this saved woman being so worldly like I am, and my grandmama loved me like she loved the rest of her grandkids. It was no different. She wanted me to be myself no matter what. So but I did tell her while I was standing there Tuesday at her casket, I was talking, just looking at her and staring at her like, wow, this is final. Because she was also a little bit of my counselor too, and my advice with these men, because my 43 years on this earth, my grandma ain't been with no man. So the 2 husbands she had prior to me being born, that was it for her. Whatever they did, they shut it down for any man after that. They shut it down. There was no man after that. You know what I mean? So we're talking what 40 something more years. You know, you're on this earth,
No.
no man. Like no.
Mm-mm.
Every time I talk to her, it's like you could tell she don't want none of her grandgirls with no man. I'm like, Grandma, we not finna be like you.
Uh-uh.
We're not doing that.
You're not meant to do this life alone now.
Yeah. And I did tell her, I promised her that everything I started, I'm going to finish. So I said that at the casket. And I feel like I already feel her spirit. Like I lost my wallet the other day. And when I went back to the place I lost it, we're talking 8 hours later, everything in there, nothing touched.
Wow.
So I feel like she's already working and, being that
Yeah.
fine. So yeah, I think my resilience is going to come from just the things that was instilled in me as a child and as an adult. And again, I don't want to be a victim. That's another reason. I don't want to be a victim. I don't see myself as that. I just went through some things. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I go back to your book From Pawn to Queen. Your struggles and the things that you've been through has shaped who you are right now.
Yes.
To the queen that you are today. And I love it. Being a mother of 3, how do you ensure that your children have a different experience than what you did?
The environment. That was the very first step. Getting out of my hometown. You know, like I said, now I have boys. Like my daughter, I couldn't ask for a better daughter. Because she ain't nothing like me. She totally opposite. You know what I mean? She's a good girl. Not getting into too much of her business, but she was a virgin to 21. You know what I mean? Like went to college. You know what I mean? So we're totally different. So she was also like very much a help in the house with her brothers too. So but my sons, once I saw what my town was turning into, I didn't want that for them. So that's why I made the move to Atlanta. And I was in Decatur for a little while, and I saw that Decatur was reminding me a little bit of my hometown. So moved again. I'm out here in Douglasville where they don't allow fighting at school. You're not getting a second warning. You're getting out of there the first time. And I love that.
Yeah.
This is me knowing my children are safe then,
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I think my motivation, I finally got a house. I told them we was going to get a house with a big yard and everything. Once I actually did that, I was like, girl, I'm telling you, it ain't no challenge out there that's too hard. But even if it is, resources. You're a praying girl. You know what I mean? You meet people. So I feel like anybody that is listening to your show right now and or any show that you've done, any episode, if they're going through something that one of your guests were talking about or experiencing or anything, resilience. Oh my God, that is so important. If the devil had his way, you would sit and you would not get back up. So I ain't having that.
No, that's what he wants. He don't want you to get back up. How do you balance motherhood and also juggling your career at the same time? How you keep writing?
No, but you find time, you work around it. So luckily, like I said, my son is about to be 17. My other son is 12. So I have big boys. It's not like they got to be, watched over 24 hours a day. So I'm able to do more. And also, I'm gonna mention something that you didn't know, but I was me and the son that was born early were involved in a very, very bad car wreck. So I'm actually on disability. Yeah. So they tried everything, every procedure, everything they could do to my back. It's not fixable. So I'm just stuck with it. And even that has not stopped me because I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but that's
the
painful one. It is. You never know how a day's gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would get up, like I could literally be hurting right now, and I would get up and come right here and do what I'm doing, face on, you know what I mean, ready. Because I had sat in it for a while. I was like just laying around, just hurting.
Yeah,
like, this really what you're gonna do? You're gonna let this disability cripple you for real?
Yeah.
Find ways. So I started finding things like therapy. Again, my children, keeping me youthful, running around with them. So like I said, I feel like I'm telling you, the motivation for me, I want to say 100% is my kids too.
Yeah.
I just keep going. And then I balance it because they help me balance.
Yeah. I love that. And just so, I had a sister-in-law who had fibromyalgia, and it's extremely painful, and you never know what day, like you said, never know what day you're going to have, never know how you're going to feel, and never know how long you're going to be able to last. So that's a whole other podcast alone. You should do that one of yours just to talk about it. Because a lot of people who don't know about it, they may look and say, "Oh, just get up. You're fine." But it's not that easy.
It's not that easy.
Not
Some
that
days
easy.
you don't wanna cook, you don't wanna do nothing for the
Right.
boys, you wanna just lay in your bed,
Right.
take your pain medicine, or, just go get a massage, whatever can help you. You're not really able to be
There for anybody else.
somebody for somebody else, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, yeah, but we've been going through this for years, so we've learned to work with it together as a family, so.
I love that. Okay, yeah, that's a whole nother one. But
That's a whole nother one. Okay, okay.
what legacy do you hope to leave for your children?
So yesterday, I think it was, it says, I'm teaching my children that them and their siblings are the most important people to each other. The legacy I need to leave behind is when their mom is gone, nothing needs to come between them. I don't care what it is. They have to be there for each other. I want them to always show up. And I'm also trying to just find a way to have generational wealth. That's not, if you're not born into it, it ain't just something you can grasp. You got to work your way to
Oh,
it. But I am working on that.
I love that. That
Yeah, I
generation.
just don't want them. I see I know a lot of people still to this day, they won't put no life insurance on them and their kids, and they're leaving people to deal with that after they're gone. I don't want that for my children. I don't want, if when I leave here, for them to have to be begging anyone, or laying on anybody's sofa where they don't feel comfortable at, or in their house.
Right.
So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm setting them up to not live like that. I know you can't control things once you're not here anymore, but I'm hoping with the way I'm trying to set things up, that won't be something they deal with.
That is, yeah, that's deep.
And
And how
also
about,
teaching my
okay,
sons, don't you ever put your hand on no woman. I don't care what. Don't
amen.
you ever do that. So I'm also teaching them that as well.
Amen. Ooh, girl. Ooh, look, that's a whole nother one right there.
Yeah.
I got 5 boys, and
Welcome me back now. Come back now.
look, that is a whole nother. I think that is a very good topic. Anyways, okay. And how about, what legacy do you hope to leave for other women who are listening to you right now?
I just hope, because I don't look like what I've been through, that could be a part of their motivation. Like, wait a minute, I read her book and she went through all this, but then when you get here, you see her, she got a smile to give. She got, energy good is good, love to share. Because I know this world is we lacking love. It's like it don't exist sometimes anymore. So I would want them to just look at me as a person that was about love, like and about, like I said, being resilient. That's what I would leave with, a woman that don't give up. I don't care. And I also don't want my women out here, these young ladies, I don't want them codependent on a man. I just don't. I know that we think that that's the way, make life easier for you. I mean, if you got a man that helps, amen to that. But I just want you to make sure you always set yourself up to have your own, if in need. You just would never have to rely on someone else putting you out.
I love that.
Now, I ain't never lived with no man. They all live with me. I ain't
No.
playing that. No.
Okay. Looking back, what do you wish your younger self had known?
I wish I would have took my time being involved with sex and in serious relationships. I think that was way too fast, way too soon. And also that, someone hurting you is not love. No matter how many I love yous they put behind it. So I really wish I could have, like, went back to my younger self, which I plan to do in the movie. That's one of my goals, to see me hugging and loving on my younger self, saying, that's okay, babe, but look where we at now though. So
What is going on right now?
yeah.
Okay. If you could say one thing to others who are struggling with trauma, or a painful past, what would it be?
I will hope they will find a support system. If you're dealing with that right now, see, a lot of people don't really be vocal about that. That's something they just deal with, and they sit and deal with it on their own. And even if they do have somebody they talk to, it's not always the person that's giving them the best advice. So for someone dealing with trauma, I just need them to have a support system around them, because the more support, the more love you have, you'll start to see your worth and know that you don't deserve to be dealing with any type of trauma. You can't always escape trauma. Some people's path is what it is,
Yeah.
but again, it's what you do afterwards. You know what I mean? Because I know people still dealing with childhood trauma in their 40s, you know what I mean? Because they haven't healed. So
Right.
I encourage anybody that's doing anything like that, please don't be embarrassed. Don't feel like you by yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be vocal talk about it, there's somebody right now probably ready to come run to your rescue. Because
Mm.
there are people like me out there, you know.
I love that. You're not alone. Don't bury it. What's next in your journey, personally and professionally? What can we expect?
Personally, let's talk about that.
Okay.
So personally, I would like to stop chasing love and let love find me. That's what I would like to do
Come
personally.
on.
And also, right now I am a diabetic and I have high blood pressure, which is not good for Black women in their 40s. So health is wealth. Health is wealth. I'm in the gym. I just started at Planet Fitness. I was in there today for an hour. I'm ready. I'm changing my diet. I'm ready to get serious about it because again, I would like to be here with my kids as long as I can. Look at my grandma, 101. See all her children raised, her children's children raised, and her
Mm.
children's children and born. So
Mm.
that's a beautiful thing. I want that.
Yeah.
We have the same birthday, so I'm hoping that kind of
We're
pass
past
down.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then professionally.
Okay, professionally, I want to get in the right groups, like with Women Witness. Get the right organization of women that are doing things positive out here for the community, for other women especially. And I do want to I want my movie done, and I don't want it rushed. I want it done right. I don't want to just sell my story for a dollar. I really want it to, because it's my baby, it's my life. So I really want to see that done this year. This year.
This year.
This year.
Oh my God.
More is getting done this year.
Oh my goodness. I listened to Pastor John Hanna, and I just love this ministry. But one of the things that he said, this is a year of expectations. So
Oh,
I'm sorry, year of manifestation. So the
manifestation.
manifestation. So
The
those
last year was expectation.
correct. Correct. I was like, you okay, listen to this.
Yeah,
So
we're ready to manifest now.
listen. So I do believe, and I feel that, pray for that for you to happen and for you to see it this year. I agree. I'm in agreement with
And
that.
again, having opportunities like this. So I do want to thank you again, because I
Yeah.
feel like it reaches people, and it does, like what we're talking about. It
Yeah.
gives people hope. It gives people a sense of, oh, okay, so it don't end at prison. No, it don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so it don't end when the man left me and jumped on me and beat on me and then left me. No, it don't. You know what I mean? There's still a story to be written. As long as you are breathing, you are writing your story.
Oh, I know that's right. Woo, Wytishia, thank you so much for coming in here and being a witness. You have poured at this well. I looked up and I realized, oh my goodness, okay. We
Wow.
can talk.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to tell you.
7 minutes? How did that happen?
I'm not even done yet. But okay. And remember, I told you, I think we have some follow-up conversations to have, because I think you brought up some really good topics, really good points. Everything from, talking to our boys and how we're raising our young men, especially for some of us who are single parents, and how to get that done in the best positive way that will benefit our children. You have done it. You are doing it. And I think that these stories need to be told. And then there was one more. Yes,
Since you said
please.
it real quick, I do want to
Please.
talk to my single mothers. Listen to me, because
Yes.
I know, man, we be wanting to go in the room and close the door and don't worry about nothing else. And I need you to understand what you are doing it on your own. It is not going unnoticed. There is a reward behind it, even if it's just your children's love. But just stand firm, because it is hard trying to navigate everything in life and do it all by yourself, make every choice, every decision for you and your family. So I hope anybody that's struggling with that too as well, like, baby, you what you call superwoman.
Come on.
Seriously. Yeah.
Come on. And it can be done. I love that. That's some good advice right there, Wytishia.
Yes.
And hopefully some good encouragement for those who feel like they can't. Wytishia, where can we find your book? Where can we follow you online? And where can we find your hair business, honey?
Okay, so my book is on Amazon.
Yeah.
And also you can hit me up on any of my social media platforms and purchase it directly from me. I also ship as well. And so my social media, Facebook is WY. Then it's the word Tisha, my name, Tishia. Instagram is MS_Wytishia, WYTISHIA. TikTok is Miss Bly, MIZZBLY. My wig company, I have a website and it's Wy Wigs Beyond. That's WYWIGSBEYOND 2024.com.
Hey, all right. And I will
put some new products on there and we finna run some specials for the spring.
come on. And I will definitely leave all the information in the description below. Wytishia, it was so great having you on. Thank
I
you
hope
for
we stay in contact.
wisdom. Yes, we will be for sure. I want you to just leave us something to hold on to for the rest of the week.
Okay, let's see. For the rest of the week, I want to do something. Like, it needs to be good. Hold on, let me think real fast. Nothing in this world, nothing but death can stop you from going to the highest mountain. So if you are alive and you are breathing today, climb that mountain.
And on that note,
no, I'm serious. I didn't say that. I mean that. Nothing but death. Climb that mountain. Because we got people in wheelchairs playing basketball. So I'm not going to say no handicap. Nothing but death. Climb that mountain.
Ooh. Ooh, I love it. Thank you so much, Wytishia, for coming here for it at this well. I want to thank all of my listeners for tuning in to another episode of the Woman Witness podcast. If you are blessed by this episode, we ask that you send it to a friend, send it to a family member, follow Wytishia on all social medias. It is in the description below. Hit that like button and, of course, subscribe to the Woman Witness TV, Woman Witness podcast. Yes. And perhaps you were chosen for such a time as this to write, to tell your story, your truth. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.